And when he came, he didn't have a heartbeat or anything.
Yeah. It's okay, babe.
But these parents, they're hands-on. Like, if you ever watched them with their kids, you'd go, wow, because they're just hands-on.
It is still hard for Tony and Barbara Stephan to talk about the day almost a year ago when grandson Ezekial Stephan died. Tony says a cold or flu suddenly worsened and the toddler started having trouble breathing. Now his parents, David and Collet, have been charged with failing to provide the necessities of life. Ezekiel's grandfather Tony speaks out, saying that the tragedy was the result of the onset of a sudden illness, possibly meningitis, compounded by poor ambulance service, and not the fault of Ezekiel's parents.
And the ambulance was going to meet him part way so that they could begin working with the little guy. And the mother had to perform artificial respiration because he was really having trouble breathing on the road there, and they met the ambulance about 8 minutes north of Cardston. Now I got to ask the question, what happened? Because they have an ambulance in Glenwood, which is only 5 minutes from their home. And they could have immediately began to do the work on the little guy. And, boy, that's terrible. But when they met the ambulance attendant indicated that he didn't have an intubation tube to intubate the baby, to put air into his lungs. They didn't have the right equipment. And so when they brought him to the Cardston Hospital, he wasn't breathing and his heart had stopped. Boy. Terrible, just terrible. And I got to ask about the hypocrisy of that whole situation. What? You mean to tell me that you would take this young couple who are struggling with this situation and charge them criminally like this? Now, these are good parents that look after their children. They feed them very, very well. They're into a lot of health issues. They don't feed junk food and pop and chips to these kids, and they're very healthy. And I understand since this has occurred that there are times when coming out of croup, meningitis can occur. But who can tell? Who would know? And there was nothing that ever sent a signal that said, take this boy into the hospital right now because he needs hospital care. So it's just a terrible situation, and there's no bringing him back. But I don't understand why they would do this when there's a partial blame here with the medical system in that sense, not having the appropriate equipment. And I understand that people do the best that they can. I'm not here to fault people. I'm just asking the question, what happened here? And why would you blame a young couple that are doing the very, very best that they can? You have to ask the question. It begs an answer.